Good afternoon, all, and welcome. My name is Chad Cook. I'm the Deputy Fire Chief for the Ventura County Fire Department. I'm honored to be here today. For any of you that don't know me, I don't like to speak from podium, so it's probably, some of you will find laughter in that, but you'll understand why probably if you talk to anybody. But they have before I kick off here today, I do want to just make a couple announcements just real quick. I'm honored to represent the department today. Fire Chief Dustin Gardner could not be here today. He was called to Sacramento to testify in a legislative hearing today, which ended up being very successful for the state of California and the fire service in general and wildfire preparations. So he is on a plane back here now, as well as Supervisor Kelly Long and other members of the legislative staff of California. He also is represented there today by our Fire Marshal, Joe Morelli. But before we go any farther with that, I do want to just announce just a couple of quick things. Again, welcome to our award ceremony. We do this every year to recognize not only our people, but the people behind the scenes of the fire department. All the people that are behind the scenes of the fire department collectively make this organization what it is. Oftentimes people see fire engines up and down the street, they see emergency service delivery, but it is really more than that. It is the men and women of the agency that collectively come together to provide that service. And that service is made possible by the taxpayers of Ventura County and our elected officials, and I want to recognize the ones that are here today. First, I want to recognize Supervisor Janice Parvin, who's in the crowd today. Supervisor Jeff Gorell. Ariana Castaneos Rodriguez, the field representative for Supervisor Kelly Long. Moore Park City Manager Troy Brown. Camarillo City Council Member Martina Martinez Bravo. Paulina Rivera, Field Representative for Assemblymember Steve Bennett. Kate Vega, District Representative for Congresswoman Julia Brownlee. Our operational partners with the Ventura County Sheriff's Department, John Riley, the Undersheriff. Chief Aguilar with Santa Paula Police Department. And again, our fire department partners, not only with the city of Ventura with Fire Chief David Indaya, as well as Assistant Fire Chief Karsten Guthrie with the Oxnard Fire Department. Oftentimes people ask, as we go through dignitaries in the beginning, there's a reason for that, because they truly do what make our job easier, and they make our job possible through support. And I don't write a script for this. I try to be authentic in the way that we do things, and I try to be authentic about our people and the leadership of the county. We have a very good working relationship with all of our public safety partners in the county. I applaud our sheriff partners. The Undersheriff John Riley and I have a great relationship, as does Dustin with the sheriff. And I will tell you, together you're going to notice that we recognize quite a few people from other organizations in our day-to-day actions, because we truly are partners in service delivery. And you will hear me say that multiple times this afternoon as we cover a lot of the awards here today. With that, as you spend any time around me, you will realize right away how proud I am of the Ventura County Fire Department. I've been a member of this fire department for over 35 years. I've been in the fire service for close to 38 years. And I will tell you that in that time in the fire service, I look at our agency and I truly believe we have the best people. I really do believe that. I believe that serving these great communities in Ventura County is an honor and a privilege, and it should not be taken lightly. I believe that an event like something like this that showcases our people is very important. It's important to the families, it's important to the men and women of the department and our cooperating agencies. This event is about that. It's about showcasing our people. The public safety mission is very, very interesting, and I will tell you that anyone that works in public safety that may not be in a uniform here today or has the opportunity to serve will realize something very quickly. It truly makes you feel warm inside when you have the ability to help other people. There is a feeling that you will never forget the moment you get to render aid to somebody or actually help someone who's in a position that's been compromised. You're going to hear many stories today. You're going to possibly see some videos. You're going to hear a little bit about excellence. You're going to hear about service delivery. You're going to hear about people in the community stepping forward when other people did not. We're going to hear a little bit about hard work. We're going to celebrate these people, and together, at the end of this, we're going to applaud them. And we're going to realize, as you look around the room, that you're surrounded by excellence, and I applaud that. So with that, let's get started so we can actually dive into this and talk a little bit about our people. If anybody was present here last year, whenever somebody had an award, they approached the stage, and I used a common phrase last year. And I really had time to think about the phrase I used last year. Last year I said, whenever somebody came up to receive an award, if any of you were here last year, you know that I finished that award by saying, and they work for us. I really had time to think about that and resonated and examined my own words, and I didn't choose the right words. Through reflection, I realized those were not the right words to use in a ceremony like this. The right words to use were, they work for you. They work for the public every single day. We get to capitalize on the fact that they work for us, but in all reality, they work for you, and they do it on a day-to-day basis. I will tell you that public safety is a very unique profession, especially in today's culture. We are in a culture of video cameras, audio recordings. We're in a culture of people watching every move that you make, and oftentimes we are judged without all the facts. We are in a profession that is often highly demanding, very truthful. We live in a world of half-truths, misrepresentation, culture clashes, consequences that we don't even know about, as well as extremely high emotional demands on our people. As I was typing up some of my notes to speak to today, I really realized that most people would fear every single one of those things, and they would not raise their hand for a position or a job that put themselves in the limelight just about every single day. And we are not perfect. We are not. We teach our people basically one thing. Remember one thing about you. You are not perfect, but you will exemplify dignity, meaning that the people that you serve are in a compromised position, and do your best to realize that and put yourself in their position and provide the best possible service every single time. It is that simple. I think anybody that sits in this room right now, looks at that or listens to those things, realizes they do that. And I know they do it, and I'm extremely proud of that. I told you I try to be as authentic as possible because I've been in their position, I've been in their shoes. And oftentimes, there are not many people raising their hand to take action. I believe that action is a very interesting thing. By you taking action and putting yourself in harm's way, taking action and putting yourself in a vulnerable position, what ends up happening or what comes from that is personal growth. That personal growth is impactful. It bleeds out of you. It influences other people. People start stepping off the sidelines and they want to get in the game. Other people that want to get in the game, they realize that a single ability of a person to act swiftly, inspire others, or provide aid can create a ripple effect in society. And I will tell you that turning one person around into that ripple effect can make a collective change and move a course of action, even during a time of crisis, and especially when people need action. Oftentimes I get a chance to speak to our fire department, our young members, and even our chief officers that are here today. And later on I'm going to acknowledge all of them. But I want to tell you something. I always try to have a fable, something that you can relate to. And I will tell you, in every single person, there's two rivers that flow between us. Inside you, there's two rivers. We walk along that river that is a clear river that's fed by a mountain spring that nourishes everything around us. That's the river you want to follow. There's other rivers that are out there the banks are eroded, they have erosion problems, the soil is dumping into the river, and it is murky, and it is dirty, and it is often evil. And I will tell you that we are constantly bouncing back and forth between those two bodies of water. And I truly believe that the men and women of all the public safety organizations try to follow the right river. We follow the clear river, we try to do what's best for society, and it's not always perfect. But it is a very, very demanding profession that requires you to make split-second decisions that are often not right. You don't have all the information, you don't have all the facts, you don't have all the collective, I guess, Monday morning quarterbacking that goes on after something takes place. You do the best you can with the tools you're given. And I will tell you, most of the time, we rise to the occasion and we do the right things. And I believe that that is what exemplifies public safety. And with that, let's get started with our first recipient tonight.
My friends, it is Brett Michaels.
Today, I am completely honored to thank the Ventura County Fire Department as all of us recognize the dedication, the courage, and the excellence of our firefighters, our first responders, our department employees, and community members. We cannot thank you enough. From all of the Michaels family, all of our band and crew, and everyone in this community, we love you for everything you do, for stepping up. It takes heart, it takes grit, it takes an unwavering commitment to service. And for that, I want to personally thank you again and again for your bravery and dedication that inspires all of us. It's a privilege to celebrate you today. You rock.
Can't thank you all enough. Stay strong, rock on, and remain unbroken.
Brett Michaels from the Band of Poison, local resident. So always good to see our local residents coming out and show public safety. We're going to start with our Employee of the Year first. Our first Employee of the Year is our Administrative Services Bureau, and that is Jeff Weaver. As Jeff approaches the stage, Jeff serves as our recruitment officer behind every firefighter in the field. He stands dedicated as part of a recruiting team in our HR department, ensuring that the best candidates are selected, trained, and ready to serve. Jeff's impact goes far beyond hiring. His expertise, insight, and willingness to learn about the job that he's recruiting for spans fiscal, contracts, personal management, IT, and even maintenance and repair. He does a little bit of everything when it comes to his position. He truly is an expert in his field. When I had a chance to actually speak with him and talk with him, I look at everything that he does, and I realized when I looked at his board, he had so much going on in his office. I could not believe how many open spots, how much recruitment you had going on, and what you were juggling. And with that, I will tell you thank you for everything you do, and it's an honor that you to receive this award this year. You bet. Stand by for just 1 second. I will now move on to our Business Service Manager and Employee of the Year, Monique Jimenez. Monique is a facility supervisor overseeing coordination of maintenance activities at all of the fire department facilities across the county. Her personality, kindness, empathy, and work ethic have completely revitalized the maintenance and service that we provide. Her responsiveness and dependability, not only in communication with field staff and vendors, has improved services exponentially. She oversees 45 facilities, and if you think that's not that many really, all of them are working fire stations, support facilities, training facilities. So much of them have so much going on, not only including maintenance, but also tracking of software, as well as planning and coordination with many of our vendors. Monique does a fantastic job at juggling all of that, and behind the scenes, she makes a lot happen from her position. With that, I want to congratulate Monique on your Employee of the Year. Okay. Our next is our Support Services Bureau. Today, we have an interesting thing that happened in our Support Services Bureau. My pause up here was because some people are not in attendance today, so I reshuffled the deck real quick for the people that weren't going to be here. But in Support Services, we intend these awards to recognize some of the people on our front lines that are getting the work done. We often recognize people that don't need a lot of recognition, but we see what they do behind the scenes. This year, we chose Assistant Chief John Spikerman, who recently retired. Choosing one of our chief officers for one of this position actually goes against what we believe in. We believe in recognizing all of our people in a little bit different light. But his own people wanted to recognize him, and with his recent retirement, he will not be here today. But with that, there are certain members of his support service staff that showed up today to accept the award on behalf of him, were instrumental in his nomination, and that is Mike Ashley and Chris Morta. As they cross our stage up here, I just want to talk a little bit about, we call him the Spike, who is Chief John Spikerman, who retired. John has always had outstanding performance. He has quite a bit of ADD. He has a lot going on in his head. It reminds me of one of those balls on a paddle. But I will tell you that he is always willing to step in, and he's always willing to do what other people won't. I don't think he sleeps. I really don't think so. I think he always has something going on in his head, and I think all the people around him realize that he never says no to anything. And I will tell you that once he learned, or once he was promoted to the position and went to support services, he dug in and he decided that he was going to make a change, and he was going to try to support the people that were in there. And for that, John received the award from his peers for a job well done as Employee of the Year. Thank you. It's hot up here. I don't know if we have air conditioning in here, but the wool suits are making me feel like I'm at summer camp. The Fire Prevention Bureau is one of our first opportunities to promote public safety. Through inspections, construction, plan reviews, guidance, and best practices that are out there. We use it for mitigating wildfire risks, and the Fire Prevention Bureau is constantly working. Their staff has grown over the years, and they continue to take on more and more and more, which is also indicative of my earlier conversation regarding the fire marshal and the chief testifying in Sacramento today. Fire prevention continues to be on the forefront based upon the risks that we have in our communities, especially the wildfire risk. Our Fire Prevention Employee of the Year also will not be here tonight with the reshuffle of the deck, and he recently retired, and it was Larry Williams. Larry Williams has spent many years here in the county of Ventura basically perfecting his craft. Most of you know him out there, especially with our elected officials and our community members that are here today. You know him because he has presented at just about every city in the county. He has presented at the county level. He was well educated in everything that he does, and he comes prepared. Larry, like I said, couldn't be here today, but he is truly an expert in his field, and we applaud him as our Employee of the Year in the Fire Prevention Bureau. Some of our people don't even get paid that we're going to recognize here today. We have quite a few volunteers in the Ventura County Fire Department, people in the community that raise their hand that want to do something and they want to give back. Volunteering is one of the greatest things that we can do for our communities, especially with the public safety mission. As you know, all of our chaplains are volunteers, and we're going to recognize one of our volunteers of the year this year as one of our chaplains, and that is Arnold Reyes. Thank you. Chaplain Reyes embodies the heart and soul of volunteering. He provides unwavering support to Ventura County Fire Department personnel in the community. Arnold's ministry of presence, marked by his sensitivity in service and his thoughtful demeanor, ensures comfort for those enduring the worst days of their lives. Arnold's unique background came to the county, and he came from the law enforcement background with the correctional institutions that has honed his ability to listen intently and offer advice only when sought. I will tell you, Chaplain, that is a gift for you to be able to listen to people and often find the right time to speak, to be able to, most of the time they want to be heard. And speaking through, again, authenticity, I will tell you that that is a fantastic trait that you have, and it has been told to me not through the document that represents you, but through your peers. And I applaud you for the service that you give people, especially in their time of need. When somebody has a tragedy that occurs within their family, or they are suffering the worst day of your life, you are the man that shows up there to listen. You're the man to offer praise. You're the man to offer so many tools for people to cope. And I will tell you, without those skill sets, there are several people in society today that may not be here. They may not know how to actually deal with things. And I will tell you that on behalf of the County Fire Department, I appreciate you so much for the things that you do, and this is a welcomed award. You bet. We also have a group of young people. I'll call them our Explorer program, and they're vibrant. And I will tell you, I started as a fire cadet in this agency, so it makes me think back to the times when you just want to get in the fire department and you know that it's your calling. Our Explorers give a lot. They constantly raise their hand because they know it's the career that they want to fulfill one day. We have the ability to add Explorers into our fire department and take advantage of everything that they can bring, and also teach them everything that we can teach them for the career that they have aspired to attain. This year's Explorer of the Year is Chad Agruso. As a fire explorer over a year, Chad has shown professionalism and maturity beyond his age. While balancing his role as a full-time tech at an automotive dealership, obtaining his emergency medical technician certificate, and pursuing a degree in automotive service technology, Chad also is a lead instructor for the Fire Explorer program. As you can probably tell already, his time management skills have obviously gotten pretty good, because we happen to see his face an awful lot. The program leader describes him as the right-hand man who is dialed in his role. Most recently, he has been hired as a seasonal fire control worker with our wildland unit. I want to take a moment to congratulate you on the next step in your journey. You are moving into our wildland unit, which to me is the cream of the crop. They are some of the hardest workers, and they will teach you through their leadership of their superintendents. They're going to teach you all the skills that you need to be successful in this career. They will teach you about work ethic. They will teach you about pride, and they will teach you what it means to be a Ventura County firefighter. And I will tell you that I applaud your course. I applaud where you're headed in life. And the comments that have been sent in on your behalf just makes a person want to smile. Thank you for what you do. I'm going to move on to our Firefighters of the Year. As you know, we operate in 5 operational battalions in the county of Ventura. Each of those operational battalions have chosen a Firefighter of the Year. Those Firefighters of the Year were chosen among their peers. Oftentimes it's very competitive. You'll have numerous, I'll call it, nominations that come in for our Firefighters of the Year. And I'm going to start with our Battalion 1 Firefighter of the Year this year. Battalion 1 encompasses basically the areas of Camarillo, Somas, down the south coast, and a portion of the Oxnard Plains. This year's Firefighter of the Year is Captain Ronnie Denois. For those that don't know this in the crowd, I had an opportunity to sit with Ronnie yesterday for a couple hours, and we just talked. Wasn't even there about this. We were just there talking about stuff. And in just a short period of time, Ronnie, that I got a chance to talk with you yesterday, I left there going, what a stud, you know? So you're a good dude, and I could stand up here and be authentic with you and tell you that I really think you truly are a stud. You're a great dude. And I'm telling you, I'm proud of you that you received this award. But all right, I'm going to tell the rest of you a little bit more about him. Ronnie's been an integral part of the Captain's Academy. As you know, we train our people for the skills that we want them to obtain. His ability to teach new captain candidates what right looks like is important. We really look at the foundational skills that are involved, and he has mastered that. He has a positive impact on the department and the community by providing outstanding company officers in the field to deal with any emergencies that the public calls us on. For most of you that may not know this about the fire department, the sheriff's department, most of public safety, one of the reasons we do this job is the unknown. It's the adrenaline. It's not knowing what the next call is going to be. Is there routine involved? Absolutely. Is there training involved that we do again and again? Absolutely. Is there things that you will see again and again and again? Absolutely. Does it ever get boring? Sure, it does. But what you do is you train and you condition yourself knowing that you want to be the one called on when that something happens that's outside the box, that requires you to pull upon all of your skills, all of your team that you're working with to bring resolve to whatever that is. We try to put our captains in those positions where they rise to the occasion, they make those operational decisions that I talked about that are extremely important. I will tell you right now that Ronnie does a fantastic job and he trains our people to do that. He is taking a new role with writing grants. His education has brought him to be quite the writer, and I will tell you, he thinks about things. He finds a way to actually articulate the message, and he has brought in well over $500,000 to provide the best equipment and training into the county of Ventura with his short time in our grant writing. Ronnie is also a VCPFA board member. We have a very close relationship with our professional association here, and I will tell you that he has been the secretary and treasurer for, I believe, close to 10 years with them. That comes also with quite a bit of skill. He's a hazmat specialist. He's been active in the Hazardous Incident Response Team program for almost 12 years. He's been involved with the driving and pumping cadres, and he's served an instructor in our Engineers Academy. I'll just tell you that he is inspiring, and I don't have many more words other than tell you in the beginning. I had a chance to sit with him yesterday, and everything I just told you is from the heart and is true, and if you've got a chance to work around him, he will also bring a smile to your face. Thank you, Ronnie. The Battalion 2 Firefighter of the Year is Captain Ian Johnson. As Captain Johnson makes his way up here, another smiling face that I could say an awful lot about. I had the opportunity to work with Captain Johnson many years ago when I was in our Wildland Fire Division, and I will tell you, another stud. And I have so much respect for him. Again, as I truly choose my words carefully as I stand up here, it's because I get emotional seeing where these young men and women and people in our fire department are. Over my career span, I've gotten to have relationships with people, and those relationships matter. And I will tell you that I also smile every day I get to see Ian, or every time I talk to him, knowing that, yeah, that he's somebody, and you are, and I appreciate you so much. I will tell you that Ian is an exceptional captain as well. He's a contributor to the Ventura County Fire Department in many ways. This year he completed his task force leader qualifications through the California Incident Management System. He's attained his unmanned aerial aircraft reconnaissance, which is our drone pilot operation. He's become licensed in that. He was instrumental in the development of the Matilahaw Canyon Fire Contingency Plan, which was needed due to the 2024 winter storms, especially with limited access in there. This plan required coordination between field personnel, the U.S. Forest Service, our vehicle maintenance unit, for trailers, for caches, for a way that we can fight fire at Matilahaw Canyon with no road access. It also accompanied plans for us to use the air unit to get into there, as well as additional firefighting equipment. He put his mind to work and he came up with a plan on what we can do. I told you, oftentimes we want to be challenged with things that are outside the box. He worked closely with our Ventura County Public Works and worked on a road engineering project for weight limitations to get fire apparatus up into Matilahaw Canyon. Along with these additional duties, he continues to lead his engine company in all facets of emergency service delivery. And for that, Ian, I thank you for all that you do in raising your hand to be part of this department. Our Battalion 3 Firefighter of the Year is Firefighter Paramedic Victor Lowe. When I think of Victor and I see him every time, I have to be prepared. If you ever have a conversation with Victor, you better be prepared because he asks great questions. He's extremely analytical. He's already thought through the problem, has the solution figured out, and he has about 10 different answers, and I will tell you, that's exactly what you need. You need to have a different approach to so many different things. That's diversity. Diversity is your ability to see so many different angles of so many different things and figure out a problem and solve it too. And I will tell you, Victor, You do a fantastic job at that. Firefighter paramedic Victor Lowe is viewed by his peers as one of the most hardworking individuals in the department. The time and energy he puts into making not only his apparatus, the station, and anything that he does dialed. That is the words that are used. He is truly unmatched when it comes to that. He is going nonstop from early in the morning till late at night when he finally decides to go to sleep. Probably something also. You and Spikerman might have the same genes that are in there. When he finally does decide to calm down, it's usually a pretty big effort to get him to calm down. And then it's also textbook when he serves people. He has great bedside manner, and he is a true deliverer of dignity. Victor is an integral part of many behind-the-scenes cadres. He's been involved with the creation and maintenance of our learning management system. As you know, there are a lot of skills that are involved in the fire department. Every single one of us has to be experts in just about anything that you're called to. And if you really think about that, you go, well, the number of emergencies are vast. Whether you're responding to a medical emergency, car accident, fire involving a lithium-ion battery, fire involving a train, fire involving the wildland, fire involving a house, chemicals, there is a different science to every single thing that we respond to. Often approaches are slow, sometimes approaches are fast. Sometimes the skill set that is required is a slow skill set, sometimes it's a fast-acting skill set. Sometimes those skills require us to train regularly, other times it takes a slow approach and a methodical approach, and it has us look at things through more of a science. Victor has mastered just about every aspect of that. And when he does his job as a firefighter paramedic, the words that I receive back from talking to people is, he bleeds compassion. And I will tell you, like I said about dignity and people, the only way that public safety is truly judged is through hospitality. I often get a chance to talk about that, but we're in the hospitality business. That's what we do. We show up at your house and we try to offer you the best possible service on your worst day. And I will tell you, emergency incidents come in many, many forms, as I talked about. And Victor has mastered that public safety side of hospitality. And it has come more and more and more. One of the great parts of my job and the executive staff and all of our duty officers, our chief officers, is we get to hear the public when they praise us. We get emails, we get our public form that comes into our PIO shop. I have seen Victor's name on so many public emails coming in saying, I want him to serve me again, because he truly takes compassion to heart. And with that, Victor, you are the Firefighter of the Year for Battalion 3. In Battalion 4, our Firefighter of the Year is Captain Kyle Arledge. Kyle actually comes to us from a legacy family. His brother serves with us, his father served with us, and I have known Kyle since he was a very young man. Captain Arledge has been a highly motivated and engaged member of our department from the day he stepped into the academy. His attitude and commitment to public service is demonstrated daily through his involvement with not only the Engineers Academy cadre and our Operational Mayday cadre, but he is involved in everything. I see his name again and again and again as raising his hand to say, what can I do to be part of this? Kyle, I will tell you this, through my own words to you, is you're also a stud. And I will tell you, you do so many things for this agency. For me just to stand across from you on the stage in front of all these people, I just want to tell you thank you, and don't ever change. Until the day that you are 80 years old, I want you to continue to give, because there are all these people benefiting from you. And I will tell you that it's bred into you. Your family, your dad, your brother, they're the same way. And I will tell you that you are truly a part of a firefighting family. Kyle's tactical decision-making processes, consistency accounts for the dynamic needs of each incident. He is proactive, not reactive. He plans on stuff going wrong. He plans on things being outside the box. He plans to be prepared. Kyle is eager to assist firefighters who want to promote. Again, a lot of the things that we do are no different than things in society. Surround yourself by the right people and things will happen. You can learn a lot from the people that you hang out with. For everybody that's here today that seeks a career in promoting, hang out around Kyle. I will tell you that Kyle has a great attitude. I know what river you're following, Kyle. He will readily and happily take on projects, and he will assist anyone in the agency that welcomes some help. He drills daily, and he does things without ever having to be directed. One of the best things that I could offer to anybody in our agency or anybody that's out there is find ways to be engaged. Don't wait to be told to do something. Take action, and Kyle breeds that. Congratulations, Kyle, Firefighter of the Year for Battalion 4. You bet, man. Our Battalion 5 Firefighter of the Year is Engineer Mike Lee. As Mike walks up here, I have to smile. Mike's a big guy, you know. Probably wouldn't want to mess with him in a dark alley. Mike has been assigned to Fire Station 51 for just over a year, and he has had a drastic impact since his arrival. Fire Station 51 has served many different purposes at 51, not only from occupying one of our day engines to actually being, it co-locates with Oxnard City Fire Department. But as a cover company that responds county-wide, being assigned Engine 51 it's demanding, it has its challenges. You're really never home. You're on the move quite a bit, and especially for an engineer that's on the move. In a demanding atmosphere, Mike maintains the best attitude. Mike, again, when you look at these people that receive these awards, names come up frequently. You're one of those names. Your name comes up. And not only your regular duties, but Mike is an active member of our ocean rescue, our swiftwater rescue, our urban search and rescue cadres. He is well versed in all aspects of rescue scenarios. He makes it part of his life. He makes it part of his education, and he trains to it. Mike's dedication to these groups goes far beyond his requirements, his normal schedule, or his responsibilities. He breeds it. Like I mentioned about Kyle Arledge, he breeds the things that he values. He knows that he's trained in these things. He has had many deployments in all weather. He has been dedicated. He's taken on training roles, and he has really dedicated himself to providing the best public service to the people of Ventura County. Mike, one of the comments that came in on this piece of paper from you, that came in when we actually had nominations come in, and they said, you know what's so cool about Mike is they've never seen you not smile. And I will tell you, man, that is a gift as well, because I smile back at you, because I will tell you this, I applaud all your actions, and I applaud the man that you are when you give yourself to the county. Thank you. I now move on to our Wildland Fire and Aviation Special Operations Unit. For our Firefighter of the Year is Captain Keith Leonard. In the past 4 years, Keith has been a cornerstone of this division. His attitude and demeanor set the standard for professionalism and integrity, and he leads not just with his words, but with his actions. I'm going to, again, I could probably throw the script away up here, but I'm going to go off script a little bit. I've had the opportunity to work with Keith directly. Again, when I was in our Wildland Fire Division, Keith worked for me on my crew, and I want to tell everybody a story here that he's probably going to be embarrassed by right now. But we were up on a fire. I believe it was a fire up out of 400 Liggett, and we were about 14 days, again without showers, 14 days sleeping in the dirt, and he had the worst case of poison oak I've ever seen to mankind. It was horrible. At about day 16, when we were leaving the fire, we go in to go take a shower. And we're at these mobile shower trailers, and he's sitting next to me, and he takes his socks and his boots off, and he has so much edema in his legs from the swelling from his reaction to poison oak. I look at him, I go, dude, what's the matter with you? And it's like, do you have heart failure? Do you have CHF? Like, what's going on with you? And he goes, oh no, I got oak. And I go, that's not oak. And he goes, yeah, it is. He endured, we were in 108, 109 degree weather for 14 days. He never even said that he had poison oak. I looked at his body and I'm going, oh my gosh, his pack had worn through his lower back and rubbed the skin all off from the rash that he was wearing his gear and wearing that pack. And at that moment I go, that guy's a stud. I go, not a word, not a peep, just what's the job that needs to be done and I'll make it happen for you. Yes. Yes. I'll never forget that, man. I'll never forget that. For the past years, I've told you that Keith leads in our Wildland Fire Division. When a challenge arises, he raises his hand. No task is too big, no task is too small, no detail is left unturned. His willingness to take any project with a positive attitude is a testament to his work ethic. And he has deep-rooted belief in the mission of the Wildland Fire Division. Whether it's on the fire line or in the classroom or behind the scenes, he is a person that continually strives for excellence. One thing that goes with him too is he is extremely approachable. You could ask him anything, you can bring a complaint, you can bring something forward, and he listens intently and tries to solve problems. In his role in the Wildland Fire Division, he handles a lot of the recruitment and training. Keith has completely reshaped the way we bring new talent into the organization. He works closely with our HR department. I know he works close with Jeff Weaver in the beginning there. I know he works closely with our recruitment, and he has redefined our hiring and promotional process. He ensures that we are bringing the best people into the unit. His involvement in the training program has transformed the way we prepare our newly hired members. Just for everybody real quick also, by me standing up here, I get a chance to really define our people a little bit. It's tough to find good people. It's really tough to find good people in a 20-minute interview. People can buffalo you in 20 minutes. They can have you believing that they're the best person for the job, and come day one, look out. They do a really, really good job at weeding through things. They ask the right questions, they strive for their inner strength, and they try to find the best in people that will fit in our organization, but not only our organization, that fits within the communities that we serve. Keith, with that, I applaud you. Congratulations. Our Fire Communications Center is next up, and our Public Safety Dispatcher of the Year is Blake Oxford. Blake, I'm smiling at you too, buddy, especially over our text messages. I love that. Blake is an exceptional example of what a dispatcher should be. He is thorough, knowledgeable, and a team player. Blake is the first person to help when called upon. Blake has been a dispatcher for almost 20 years, but hasn't lost the passion for learning and, more importantly, teaching others. This year was Blake's first back on the floor after being our lead communication training officer. So as we rotate our people, they go into a training position, they'll be on the floor, they go through various aspects in our positions. We do the same thing in the field. People rotate to different assignments and do different things. We do that to basically train our people and to give them different skill sets as they advance in the agency. When Blake went back to the floor, he realized right away that he was still training people, and he was still being a training officer. He is kind, he's fair, and he's always there when you need him. He is part of so many things that teach the different things that we do in the agency. Our radio cadre training is one of those things. He frequently connects with personnel in the field to teach them more about the Fire Communications Center. Oftentimes, our Fire Communications Center, and I'll give a shout out to all of our dispatchers that are here today, and even our trainees if they are in the room today. Our Fire Dispatch Center is the first line of communications. It's where the public first meets the fire department. Now, yes, we meet the public on a day-to-day basis in the field, but when an emergency happens, they pick up the phone, they call 911, and they get top-notch people that answer the phone, and they are there to solve your problem, and they are basically directing you in the right direction. They're giving you instructions. They're listening to a very dramatic phone call usually. They're usually taking in information. They're simultaneously typing. They're processing information. They're communicating verbally while listening. They're talking to other people on the field, on the floor, and they are moving towards resolve. And at the same time, our computer-aided equipment is sending dispatched information, addresses, information out to the field. They stay on the line with people. They offer help. They offer directions, and they try to bring resolve themselves as the emergency team is heading that direction. That alone is stressful. That alone requires a tremendous set of skills. To all of our dispatchers that are in the room, I see each and every one of you, and I know the job that you do. You are in my sights. I understand the tough job that you have. And Blake, you stand out this year because of all of the things that you do to make that place better. And I will tell you thank you, and the award is well deserved. That's right. Okay, you're a stud. Thank you. Sometimes that's just like a personal note because I know him so well. Next, our celebration of excellence shifts to an outstanding performance in the response arena and needs of others. I want to talk to you just a little bit about some things that happen in our agency. One of the things that happens in our agency is our people need help. A growing trend. It's funny, I was listening to a podcast coming back from Visalia last week at a meeting, and I listened to this podcast about suicide rates, alcoholism, drug use. I listened to this thing about first responders, veterans. I've listened to it many times. I listened to it myself so many times, and I've already heard it once. I've heard it twice. I've heard it 3 times, and I listened to the same podcast again and again and again. And the podcast is basically why people seek danger. And the unity of people is very interesting, and oftentimes first responders need help as well. One of the things that I wanted to talk about is our peer support group. And we have several members that are here from our peer support group, but I want to call a few of them that are up. Working as a first responder involves putting yourself in someone's worst day, but that wears on you. It wears on you significantly. When it wears on you significantly, you don't really realize the impacts that you have and the things that are going on. Today, I want to recognize Battalion Chief Nick Clearly, Chris Russell, and Engineer Kevin Aguayo. Only one of them is here today, and that is Division Chief Nick Cleary. And I will tell you, Nick, I cannot tell you how many conversations I have had with Nick over our people, over the job that he does. Not only is he one of our division and duty officers, Nick wears many, many hats in the organization. I will tell anybody in the room right here, I worry more about him than anyone else because of how much he does and how much he raises his hand for. A man can only take on so much negativity, I'll call it, when things are happening. From August 22nd till September 2024, they logged their contacts. I just want to tell you real quick that Nick had 23 contacts in that given time of people that needed help from our own agency, our own members of our agency. Chris had 17 and Kevin had 10. You just think about those contacts where you're actually meeting with somebody, you're talking with somebody, and you're offering guidance and you're offering support to them for what they're going through. People think that you're made of this tough outer skin and that dealing with death and destruction is no big deal. You just brush it off. You put it in a place in your head and you just don't open that door. Well, it reopens frequently, the things that you see. It reopens when you go home to your family. Nick is always there for our people, as well as Kevin and as well as Chris. These members support the others around them, and they realize what they're going through, and they realize that oftentimes they just need a friendly voice and that smile that I've talked about for people to be able to listen to them, and they have a shoulder to basically say, hey, I need to talk to you about this. It is a very, very interesting dynamic. We have so many different avenues of peer support in our agency, and people don't know that. People don't know it. Most of the time, you don't take advantage of it because it's not cool. It's not cool to stand up and say you need help. And I will tell you, Nick makes it cool. Chris makes it cool, and so does Kevin. They make it that it's okay to talk about things. They keep a lot of things private. You'll never know those conversations. That's the brotherhood. That is the confiding in somebody. Nick is a very private person too, and he is a person too that he doesn't spill the beans. He can keep a secret. That's tough to find in today's world. You know, hey, don't tell anybody. That guy's resilient. You can tell him anything and he's not going to share your message. Nick, I applaud you, and I applaud Kevin, and I applaud Chris that aren't here today. But congratulations, pal. You raise your hand so much to help our agency. All right, you're a stud too. I'm going to move on to a CPR save. I want to cover this just real quick. This is going to be one of our first incidents where we acknowledge. I told you that we acknowledge all types of people in society, especially the people that raise their hand. In the beginning, I told you we're in a very unique environment. Oftentimes, people. There was a Harvard study, for everybody real quick, there was a Harvard study that was done on helping others. And if you ever get a chance to go on the internet and look at it, it's, if anybody's ever heard the baby carriage storage, where people stand on a train platform and a woman leaves a baby carriage there. Of course, there's no baby in the carriage, and they wait to see what happens. Well, the baby carriage slowly starts rolling. It's going to go off the train platform, and a train's coming. When they were by themselves, they took no action. But in a crowd of people, they took action because they were afraid that they'd be judged. In today's society, it has switched. It has actually switched in society today, where people are going, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this because people are watching me. I may do the wrong thing. I may be judged differently. So people will take action alone now instead of what people are doing watching you. It's a phenomenon. It is very interesting to watch. The next one that I'm going to talk to you about is a CPR save. Is Tony Brady here? Tony, oh, perfect. I'll tell the story, then Tony will have you guys come up. But let's just go through this real quick. Tony Brady, a member of the Davis Finney Parkinson Foundation Master Cycling Team. That's a lot. That's a mouthful right there. I'll say it again. The Davis Finney Parkinson Foundation Master Cycling Team was riding his bicycle in Newbury Park when he saw a man collapse. Baba Nico Manish. Are they here today? Oh, yes, okay, excellent. Was having a heart attack. Brady stopped to check on him, called 911, and began CPR right away. Brady continued making chest compressions until paramedics arrived to take over and transport Nico Manish to the hospital. Thanks to the early intervention, Nico Manish recovered without any neurological damage. Tony, you made a life-saving difference that day, and we're proud to present you with this award. But before you come up here, I want to talk a little bit about this. I mentioned this, that oftentimes people will not lay hands on another person today. They will not do that. We are in a very unique place that I talked about. And I will tell you that for you to go, this man needs help, I'm going to jump in, I'm going to do something for this person. I applaud you for a split-second action to go, this isn't right, I'm going to help here. That alone makes me smile right at you right now, going, keep being the man that you are, and keep doing that. Anytime you see someone that's in need, you help them. And I would tell that to anybody in this crowd today, that is so important. There's someone who's living today because of your actions. I also believe, without a doubt, that you were meant to be there that day. You were meant to be there when he needed help. Congratulations. As they make their way up to the stage, I'll give them just a moment. This is actually I actually consider this a huge honor to go through these awards. We have a committee, by the way, that chooses these awards. We bring outsiders into our community. We use our chaplains. We use people from the outside community that look at all the awards that are sent in, and they kind of go through them because they're not taken lightly. There's quite a bit of good that happens in the community. That is truly fantastic. Thank you both. I'm going to move on to another incident. As you know, the county of Ventura suffered the mountain fire this past year. And again, we've seen fire on the landscape in Ventura County, and it is no newcomer to Ventura County. We've had numerous incidents that has tested our agency and our communities. When I say test our agency, I truly mean it. I mean, there's different fires that we have every single day. And I know the firefighters that are in the room will just nod their head and they know exactly what I'm talking about. But there are basically two types of fires in the county of Ventura. I'll call them our day-to-day fires, our nuisance fires, the fires that we respond to, and they're going to last a few hours. They're going to last until the giant fireball in the sky goes down, and we're going to bring them to resolve when the sun goes down, and we'll get around it at night. Then there's the second type of fire, when Mother Nature flips the switch on and it brings to light the full capabilities of the county fire department. Well, the mountain fire was one of those incidents. We call to our neighbors for help. We ask for mutual aid resources. We deploy all of our resources. And I'll tell you, our team of wildland firefighters, and I speak about our chief officers, I speak about our fire captains that are out in the field, and every single one of our members, they are good at what they do. I would put them up against anyone at command and control, management, and will. They will put themselves in harm's way for anyone. And I will tell you, they have been tested. And I know that they smile at this because I've seen them tested. And our command officers, they do a phenomenal job. They are organized, they are direct, they are great communicators, and they will bring resolve to your problems. And they have mastered so many things. And you think, well, how do you master an emergency like that? Because they practice, it's on their mind. When the wind starts blowing, they're thinking about it. They're thinking about it year round. They hone their skills outside the county of Ventura. They go other places, and they become masters of their craft. So when the wind blows here and things happen here, they are ready to provide the best possible service to the citizens of Ventura County. But we can't do it alone. We have quite a few other people that help us. And I will tell you, this gives me great honor to stand up here because Trey Robertson, one of our volunteer photographers, I don't consider Trey to be a volunteer photographer. Trey's a firefighter with the Ventura County Fire Department is what he is. And a lot of people don't, for people that don't know Trey, most of the people know him in our administrative services. They know him in our volunteers. They know him in our PIO shop for what he does. But Trey brings an incredible skill set. Trey has been involved with wildfire across the landscape. He's litigated it. He has been an expert. He has been in our back pocket. He is someone you could talk to, confide in. You can talk to him about things. He has been heavily involved in the community, has resided in Simi Valley for years, has truly been a member of this agency. If there's anybody that I could look to our crowd right now or look to our volunteers, I would just deputize him right now and say, just bring him on board, move him in here. He can take whatever position, Trey, because I know you can. I will tell you, Trey, on this day, during the mountain fire, Trey was there. And on November 6th, Trey Robertson was on the mountain fire. While he was photographing firefighting operations, he came up on a crew cab pickup truck with a motor vehicle fire, with a fire in the engine compartment. The fire was rapidly spreading in the engine compartment, and it was fully engulfed in flames. The vehicle was hauling an aluminum horse trailer with 3 horses in it. It was also blocking the roadway. There was a lone occupant inside the vehicle, and the woman was very much overwhelmed by the situation. You have to remember, when you're in a wildfire scenario, usually the smoke obscures everything, the ember environment that you're in, the wind blowing, the things that are happening. It's panic mode for most people that have not been in that type of environment. And again, we live in that environment frequently, so our people are really no newcomers to it. I know Trey is not a newcomer to it. He's been there, done that. He's seen it. And I will tell you, he sprung into action when this was happening. He recognized the imminent danger for the horses. He then retrieved a fire extinguisher from his vehicle to slow the spread of the fire in the vehicle, to basically keep it from spreading to the horse trailer. While he attempted to suppress the flames, he noticed the woman was attempting to get back into the vehicle again to try to get some of her belongings out. He immediately, with a clear, calm direction, he instructed her to prioritize the horses and move away from the vehicle and worry about those horses right now. He knew that he was doing his own triage right there. He knew he was looking at exposures, and he knew that it wasn't going to be long before we had a problem with the horse trailer. They were able to safely remove the horses from there. He was able to basically help, with the help of 2 Ventura County Sheriff's deputies that arrived shortly thereafter. They helped support the rescue operation to move the animals across the street and away from the fire. You have to remember, in this environment, there's multiple things burning in this environment, not just the vehicle. Again, we had multiple houses burning, ornamental shrubbery, vegetation, things are happening all around him. Not to mention radio traffic and more people trying to evacuate a very, very dangerous situation. I will tell you that, Trey, beyond your responsibilities as a volunteer and a fire photographer, you're also a friend. And I smile at you because I have known you for many years, and I will tell you, as family friends with you, I will tell you that this doesn't surprise me one bit reading this. I was going to say, I figured that there was way more things that people don't know about that you did that day to help other people, save other people, and do whatever action you could take to bring resolve to that incident as well. That's the man that you are. And your actions deserve this life-saving citation medal. I'm going to move on more about the mountain fire here. You know, the mountain fire has almost dwarfed the fires that burned in the Palisades and on the Eaton fire in the foothills of the San Gabriels. But I'm going to move on to the evacuations. I talked to you about kind of the chaos, the chaotic situation that happens in the middle of a wildfire. Santa Ana winds that started the mountain, that were predominant during the start of the mountain fire, were pretty intense. We did have wind gusts that were right around the 100-mile-an-hour mark. And somebody asked me one day, what is 100-mile-an-hour wind like? And I don't think you could ever really describe it to somebody. You know, probably the closest thing I could really tell you to do, which really isn't real, but it's a way to look at it because judging wind is very unique. Just do 100 miles an hour down the freeway and stick your head out the window. You know, you might have an idea about peeling your eyelids back. But again, that's not real if you know physics. So the Santa Ana winds at the start of the mountain fire were very intense. Gusts that reached close to 100 miles an hour. The winds were carrying embers more than 2 miles ahead of the main body of fire. If you were to look at a map and you saw where the mountain fire spotted to, immediately you'd go, wow, that is a long way. The convected column that moves up into the atmosphere and is carried by those winds, transport winds, will throw embers out way out in front of the fire. The sheriff's office staffs when we staff. We're in close coordination with our Office of Emergency Services, Patrick Maynard and his staff at OES, along with the Sheriff's Department. I don't believe I've ever had a wind incident or a fire or some type of incident where we don't have close coordination with the Sheriff's command staff, and not to mention the Sheriff's members that are at the air unit. The Sheriff's office staffs also when we staff in the event of evacuations and to be prepared for basically the onslaught of fire. Our sheriff's deputies move to these neighborhoods. The interesting thing is they don't have safety gear for this. They're often in their station uniform, they're often in their patrol uniforms, they're often called in from other places they're doing, and they respond without haste. They quickly organize and they move through neighborhoods to make sure people get out of harm's way. Oftentimes on a fire engine you have the protection of fire hose, self-contained breathing apparatus, Nomex, different things. But I will tell you the deputy sheriffs don't have all that. They do not have all that. They don't have all the training. They do get some training in it, but they don't have everything. But I've never seen that stop them once from taking action. Kind of the theme of today that I continue to talk about is the ability for people to take action, even when things may tell you not to. When Deputy Robert Bain responded to the area on Marissa Lane, conditions were dire with heavy smoke and reduced visibility in addition to the wind. As he was evacuating homes in the area, he met two panicked caretakers of a residence who explained that there was 4 elderly patients inside who could not walk. This is really your worst nightmare on any fire company. 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, a residential structure fire, you pull up, you realize that home has been converted to a residential care home. There's 4 or 5 invalids in the house. You have a heavy smoke condition. You have your work cut out for you. You're not worried about the fire. You're worried about getting people out of harm's way. Once again, this has become a normal theme. You need to take care of people first, the fire second. What ended up happening on this was when he got there, he immediately requested additional resources. He was joined by deputies Justin Lopez and Joseph Ramirez. Together, they used wheelchairs to evacuate the first 2 patients. Deputy Bain ran back into the residence while deputies Ramirez and Lopez loaded the first 2 evacuees into their unmarked patrol cars. Flames were 30 yards from him at this time, and if you look at the video of the mountain fire and you look at the area that they were in, when you add 100-mile-an-hour wind to fire, you have sideways fire. You have intense thermal conditions. You are in an ember environment, and you are in grave danger. When Deputy Jacob Anderson and John McGill arrived to assist, Anderson, McGill, and Bain showed compassion as they tried to help the patients get dressed and then help them out of their residence into their patrol vehicles. The deputies had to lift a couple of the patients out of their wheelchairs to get them into the patrol units. I want you to picture this. Me reading it does no justice what they were doing. You have to be in this environment to realize what haste looks like, what fast actions look like. When I talk to you about decision making, the decision making in an environment like this comes awfully quick, and you revert back on your training and your skills. And at the same time, they're using that dignity word that I used earlier, and their compassion word, going, nobody wants to be put in this situation. What can we do to help these people? They showed great compassion, and all evacuees were transported out of the area to safety, including to local hospitals with no injuries. There is no doubt that the actions of these deputies saved the lives of the residents and their caretaker. Again, when we're under a fire siege like this, you cannot be everywhere. And what you realize right away is the power of the collective public safety, whether it's through volunteerism, whether it's through the deputy sheriffs, whether it's through our Office of Emergency Services, our partner agencies, Ventura City, Oxnard City, our rangers, our lifeguards, all of the people that are involved in making people safe. We collectively pull together, and that's exactly what happened this day. And these sheriff's deputies, I guarantee you, they showed up for work that morning and they had no idea the environment they were going to be in later that day. And that's why you raise your hand, is for that. And for that, I applaud you. On June 13th, 2024, Melanie Holbeck went for a mountain bike ride near the Los Lajas Canyon Trail in Simi Valley. Now, she doesn't remember the accident, but she believes that the front tire of her bike hit a rut and got stuck. It propelled her over the handlebars and into the ground at a high rate of speed. Although she was wearing a helmet, she suffered a significant head and spinal injury. Is Melanie here today? Scott, Melanie's not here today. Okay. Dave excuse my spelling, I know I'm going to make or my pronunciation, I know I'm going to make a couple of mistakes here. Zambra was just starting his bike ride when he rounded a corner on the trail and saw Melanie on the ground, in distress and struggling to breathe. He called 911 immediately. Kim McDonald was leaving the canyon when Zambra saw her and called out for help. Working together with direction from Public Safety Dispatcher Chris Walsh, McDonald and Zariba got Holbeck out of her bike pedal clips, removed her backpack and helmet, and started CPR until firefighter paramedics arrived, even while she stopped breathing 3 times. Recognizing the severity of the situation, Walsh dispatched a helicopter response in addition to the engine that was responding to speed the transport to Los Robles Regional Medical Center in Thousand Oaks. Holbeck was hospitalized for more than 2 weeks, much of it in the intensive care unit. After initial rehab, she was able to be transferred to a rehabilitation hospital in her home state of Utah in July and then go home in August, and her recovery continues. We have a recording of the 911 incident.
Fire paramedics, what's the address of the emergency?
I'm in Simi here. I'm on the dirt trail that's over off of Cottonwood. Just riding my bike, and I was coming up the hill, and she was just laying here, and she's not responding. I mean, she's bleeding from the mouth, and she's not really responding. I didn't want to touch her or anything. She's having trouble breathing, and she's really bloody around the mouth.
Yeah, is she awake?
She wasn't responding to me. I had been talking to her, but...
Okay, when you guys try to wake her up, does she wake up to you at all, or does she respond in any way at all?
Real heavy. She's kind of laying in a contorted way with her arms.
Gotcha. I've got the paramedics on their way to help you now. Here, stay on the line. I'll tell you exactly what to do next. We're not going to move her or do anything to change her position.
Okay.
Just watch her closely and look for any changes. Once you get close enough to see her breathing, we're going to check her breathing together to make sure that it's all right. Yeah. We're going to try and time it together just to get a better sense of the timing. Every time she takes the breath in, say the word now, just so I can time it as accurately as possible.
Now. Now. Now.
Okay, that doesn't seem like she's breathing effectively right now. Based on what you're describing with her breathing, she's not going to continue breathing for very long, and we need to start CPR on her right now.
Stop breathing.
Stop breathing.
I want you to listen carefully. I'll tell you how to do chest compressions. Place the heel of your hand on the breastbone in the center of the chest, right between the nipples, and put your other hand on top of that hand. Pump the chest hard and fast, at least twice per second, and 2 inches deep. Let the chest come all the way up between pumps. So count out loud each compression so that I can count with you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did you say she's breathing?
Yes.
We can check that breathing together right now. Look at her closely. Tell me exactly what you see and hear her doing.
Chest up. Chest up.
She's breathing a little quickly, but that's more effective than what was going on earlier. So at this point, based on that a description of her breathing, we can go ahead and stop CPR. We're just going to continue to monitor her breathing. If anything changes with that before they're with her, I want you guys to let me know right away, okay? Keep a close eye on her.
I'm here right with her.
Yeah, watch that breathing. That's going to be the most effective, most important thing right now, okay?
Breathing. Here they are. I see.
You see them?
They're here. Okay.
How's her breathing? Has anything changed with that?
It's the same. It's the same. It's steady, but maybe.
Steady. Good, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for stopping to help her. I appreciate all your help. I know it's a scary, traumatic thing, and I really appreciate you guys stopping to help her. You did such a great job. Thank you so much.
Hold on just a second. Pump the brakes. That's fantastic, Chris. And listen, I'm going to get to you in just a second, but the folks that stopped, once again, a common thing. Sometimes people are a little timid to start putting hands on somebody and do something. Check normal vital signs and do something. This was somebody in need. I applaud the quick response from all of you, Dave, Kim, and Chris. It is unlikely that Melanie would have survived. She was severely injured. For the actions, Dave and Kim, we present you with a life-saving citation medal. And Chris, we present you with a life-saving award medal. But before you clap, I want to tell something, Chris. Again, I want to throw the paper aside and say something. That's service. Your demeanor on the phone, the way you handled the call, the way you spoke to somebody on the wall, you showed tremendous respect, compassion, and you were not only a coach to that whole thing, at the end of it was all done, you had enough wherewithal to go. In the background, things were going. You were ordering equipment, things were happening. People don't get to hear all that. They don't get to hear what our dispatchers do. I know that you are in the limelight today, but I will tell you, I applaud you. If you are talking to everyone like that on the telephone, I want you. That's our dispatch center, everyone. That's what they do. Excellent job. I will tell you that I am grateful for you, and I know the community is grateful for you, and I certainly know that the victim is grateful for you. And I tell you what, man, great job, and I'm proud that you work for us. I'm going to move on to a different incident, a confined space incident that occurred in Newbury Park. On September the 8th, Ventura County firefighters and crews from multiple other organizations and agencies responded to a call regarding a 37-year-old male with special needs who had crawled into a drainage pipe in Lake Sherwood area and got stuck during some triple-digit heat. You're going to see quite a few people approach the stage that were involved in this. I'm going to just set the stage for you for just a little bit. A confined space rescue is no easy feat. It really is no different than a wind-driven fire. It pulls upon the full capabilities of our organizations. We don't do it alone when it comes to urban search and rescue. It is a very, very difficult undertaking. As everyone approaches the stage here that was involved in this rescue, I have to paint the picture. I believe the temperatures were over 100 degrees this day out in Hidden Valley in the Lake Sherwood area out there. But this young man had crawled into a pipe. Again, a special needs young man who often would play in these pipes. And he ended up crawling into this pipe, and it was a long span that this pipe had with several chambers that were underground. I don't know the exact drop in the location from the point of entry to the lowest point in the incident, but as I cover what took place with you today, we're gonna also show you some of the footage from there. But on September the 8th,
Ventura 33, this is a confirmed technical rescue. Patient is below grade in a storm drain, unable to see the patient.
This is a 37-year-old non-verbal male to be in a 36-inch corrugated pipe, approximately 300 to 400 yards of distance.
IC, entry team leader on command. The victim's out, is viable.
Viable victim has been extricated and loaded up into the RA. We'll be delivering to the LZ with medic engine 32 for air transport.
So now I'm going to define what you just watched just a little bit. As I started to talk to you guys a little bit, a confined space rescue is something that we don't see it frequently. We don't. But we train for it because it pulls upon a lot of demands of your skills, and it pulls upon quite a few qualifications for you to be able to do that. You see an awful lot of people on scene there, and I'm sure these people will nod their head. I believe that day was close to 100-degree weather. That was that day. This gentleman entered the pipe, got down in there, and we had trouble. We struggled to find him that was in the pipe. We started pulling upon other resources. And you can see the pit that had to be dug for us to excavate down to be able to cut the pipe and then put some rescuers in there to be able to find him. The search continued, and I want to talk about all the agencies that were involved. The rescue involved the Oxnard Fire Department. The rescue also involved the Oxnard Police Department, the Ventura County Fire Department, the Ventura County Sheriff's Office, as well as canine units, as well as search dogs, as well as urban search and rescue companies. It also, behind the scenes, involved our duty officers talking to the Los Angeles City Fire Department, the Los Angeles County Fire Department, and neighboring agencies for robotic tools to be able to put them in there and try to pull upon anything that we had in the area that we could get responded to the scene quickly. It's funny, we put that call for help out, and we have very close relationships with our partner agencies to the south, and they immediately wanted to deploy their USAR companies out there and say, we'll come help you, we'll come help you. And we're going, whoa, hold on, I think we have enough people there, we need some different tools. But it is amazing the people that are willing to come help. Our firefighters, Oxnard's firefighters, Ventura County firefighters, crawled into the 36-inch pipe, which contains sand, dirt, and light debris, to look for a man in 3 different locations where they thought he might have been at. Before finding him wedged into the bottom end of a 300-foot long pipe against a debris pile, they used a backhoe to dig down the center. They dug down about 8 feet to reach the pipe. Then they cut the pipe open, and then they were able to get the man out in the location they're at. But in order to do that, they ended up using robotics. They ended up using the Oxnard Police Department. They ended up using the bomb squad technology to put robotics in there to basically look into the pipe, including our own cameras and things. And it was a very difficult rescue. Many people were involved in this effort. I could go on and give you way more detail about what took place this day, but this is a true show of our operational area teamwork to bring resolve to an incident. For the first group from other agencies that provided support in the rescue, we present certificates of appreciation for outside agencies, and those will go to the Oxnard Police Department, to Jeff Menike, Manuel Garcia, Arnold Garcia, and Ryan Lochner. From the Ventura County Sheriff's Office, Corey Nichols, Marco Conradi, Chris Dyer, Ryan Littlewood, Robert Combe, Daniel Lopez. From the Oxnard Fire Department, John Yesner, Kevin Clemens, John Cesena, and John Albin. I know Clemens isn't here today. For our personnel who provided support in this incident, we present certificates of recognition to Chris Sharp, Carrie Rake, Tyler Francis, Robert Lopez, Greg Estandia, Jeff Wolcott, Brendan Hill, William Watson, Kyle Williams, Chris Crossgrove, Jesse Zatino, Jacob Schaefer, Brendan Davis, Avery Cook, Spencer White, Stephen Clark, Jake Matthews, Zach Burrow, Cole Wachter, Jared Gray, Cade Bergman, Colleen O'Neill, Robert Navarro, Allison Tetza, Rick Williams, Jason Hansen, Pedro Araguin, Mark Seastrom, Dan Horton, Clayton Cundiff, Mike Mejia, Mark Pena, Ryan McClellan, Dale Aslam, Colton Gabrielson, Chris Berry, and Eric Darling. To Matthew Valencia and Bradley Craig from the Oxnard Fire Department, we recognize your contributions to this rescue with life-saving award medals. Valencia, he will not be able to attend today, but I will tell you this, to Bradley Craig. Oh, he is here. He is here, okay, perfect, he is here. And for those that entered into the pipe to search for the eventually retrieve the man in distress, Engineer Patrick Snowling from the Ventura County Fire Department, firefighter paramedic Daniel Calderon, and firefighter paramedic Nico Gallardo. We thank you for your bravery with Meritorious Service Award medals. As the last few people up here received their awards for this, you notice that the list was pretty long of the people that I identified here, and they stand to the right and still to the left here of the stage. When I counted, I looked back at the incident to do a little homework on the incident. I remember listening to it that day. The total number of people that were assigned to the incident was 84 people. 84 members of these agencies were assigned to rescue an individual. You think to yourself, well, that's a lot of people. But again, I told you that the technicality of these type of incidents can't be described by me standing at a podium and talking to a piece of paper. It's lived every day by the training, the knowledge, the skills, and the ability of the agencies you see represented up here today. These are not just ordinary people. These are people with those skills I talked about in the beginning, that the training and the things that are required of you go way beyond firefighting. Firefighting is something that is done frequently, but these infrequent, high-risk type situations require you to be a steward of all things. It requires you to apply yourself. I often ask myself, I go, wow, it's crazy, we'll all gather around a TV and we'll watch people play basketball, soccer, sports, and we'll just applaud and clap, and they're the best. I got something else to tell you, they're the best. With that, I thank you, and I'm proud that you're able to receive these awards today to save someone's life. Takes a little bit to hand out all the metal. Chuck, I'm going to have Kim McDonald come up for their medals, we didn't do that with them, as well as Dave Zaremba. Yeah. Since Dave is not here today, we'll give Kim her medal. The next incident I'm going to move on to is our Danielson incident. It was a swiftwater rescue. I want to tell you that in the last few years, we've given out quite a few medals for imminent weather. Again, it seems like Ventura County is often plagued with fire, especially on the urban and the wildland landscape. But once again, all of our public safety partners come together for these types of events. The Oxnard Fire Department, the Ventura City Fire Department, our sheriff partners, all of us, including our lifeguards. But it seems without fail that whenever it rains, we just don't get a little bit of rain. We get a lot of rain, and it usually comes pretty quickly. And we're all really thankful for it until about 6 to 8 hours in, and we've got multiple inches and everything starts running off because the ground just can't absorb anymore. With that, the Danielson incident was a swiftwater rescue. During significant rain on February the 4th last year, our swiftwater rescue team 154 responded to a call of a reported person in distress. This is an interesting one because the person that was in distress was a man who was preparing for an upcoming triathlon in Hawaii. He had gone out on a training run hoping to simulate adverse weather conditions that night, and he decided to run down into Sycamore Canyon in the driving rain and the wind and the inclement weather. When as he tried to simulate this through the current weather conditions, on his way out he ran through a fair weather crossing, and on his way back he tried to run through the same crossing, but this time the creek had swollen, the water had come up, and he was swept from his feet due to the heavy rains. The fast-moving water took him off of his feet and left him clinging to the shoreline. The photos on the screen above are of the scene that evening. Members of the spot where he was stranded was covered by trees, and it made it almost impossible for the aviation unit to perform a hoist operation. Oftentimes we will go to a hoist operation over putting one of our rescue swimmers in the water, and there's reasons for that. When one of our swimmers, or one of the swimmers that we often staff with the Oxnard City Fire Department, when one of our swimmers goes into the water, I will tell you, it's not the water that you want to be in. Remember I talked about two rivers, it's the murky one. And I will tell you that it's usually filled with pet excrement, lawn fertilizer, every chemical that's in your driveway, on your driveway that gets washed down the street into a storm drain. It comes from hypodermic needles, drugs, stuff that people discard on the side of the roads, and it washes right down into our barrancas and our arroyos and out to the ocean. And it's no different when they enter the water to save somebody. They're trying to keep their mouth shut, their eyes closed, and you realize you can't operate like that. You can't. You have to operate with full mobility. You need to use all your senses, and you are operating in an extremely dangerous environment. When you go into a water like that, it is not like entering a swimming pool. There is submerged obstacles. Our people have been hit by shopping carts, by debris, by different stuff going down in these moving waterways. And I will tell you, this is no different. Now I'm going to compound that a little bit. Let's move this incident to night with obscured visibility and driving rain. As you can see, based upon this, you start putting people out in these environments, and the chance of you hurting one of our people is high. So what do they do to battle that? They train. They're prepared. They're professionals. They do a tremendous job. They have safety gear. They communicate well. They are well versed. They understand where their strengths and their weaknesses are. They put people into positions where they will excel. That night was no different. A man who was, like I told you, who was preparing for this, ended up clinging to a tree. Our members of our swiftwater rescue team did what is called a live bait rescue. When I talked about a confined space rescue being a very low acuity call, it doesn't happen very often, but it has a tremendously high risk. There's no difference in a live bait rescue. A live bait rescue is the highest level of risk that we put our people in. And when you put someone into the water in unknown circumstances with a rope hook to their back saying, swim out there and go grab somebody, that's the ultimate risk. Because you could be struck by something can happen, and often retrieving our member can be very difficult. You're basically, for better terms, we call it kind of like sometimes dope on a rope. You're going. And it is very, very interesting when we put people in these dynamics because they know it is high risk. And like I said, they train to it. This excellent teamwork in a very difficult condition brought the shivering man to safety where he could be treated, warmed up, treated for hypothermia, and warmed up. For the roles in their rescue, we present to Brian Heath and Scott Sato certificates of recognition. To Sean Shoecraft, Tyler Francis, Zach Burrow, and Officer Gabe Del Castillo of the California State Parks, we present to you life-saving award medals. and for your direct actions in the saving of a life as a rescue swimmer. Mitch Doler, Michael Lee, Bruno Berchi, Chad Meehan will also be presented awards, and those awards will come through meritorious service. I want to just talk a little bit more as Chuck finalizes the medals that are handed out. Just out of curiosity, who were the rescues? Who was the live bait that day? It was Doler. So Doler was one of the live bait people that was out there that day. That is a very difficult swim and a very difficult rescue in most conditions. Last year we gave out medals for that as well. When I talk about training and I talk about experience and the men that are standing up on the stage representing the county of Ventura, I want you to know you have the best out there. When they staff, they have their day-to-day jobs that work in a fire station, and they provide service on a daily basis to the people of Ventura County. But when we have inclement weather like this, we pull usually them from their assignments, we bring them together as a team, and they are then mobile throughout the whole county to respond to whatever that swift water rescue is, because we have them here. It is not out of the ordinary to have 3, 4, 5 of those responses in a day when it's raining. You'd be surprised at how many they get. And they're not just driving around saying, oh, I wonder if we're going to get something. When they are staffed and they are prepared for that day, they are out training, they're out communicating, and they are, because they've come together again with all their training and their skills, and they pre-identify positions so they are ready to go at a moment's notice. The people of Ventura County should be very proud for the men and women and the job that they do outside of their normal duties to once again show you and to spotlight that they're not just firefighters. Thank you. Thanks, guys. The highest honor that the Ventura County Fire Department bestows is the Medal of Valor. It is awarded to recognize performance of a voluntary rescue or an attempted rescue of another person under conditions recognized as highly dangerous, without consideration to the consequence of immediate threat to their own life and limb, and as an extreme personal risk. It may be awarded to a community member, an employee, or a member of another public safety organization, or someone serving within the area protected by this fire department. The next one I want to read to you is a Medal of Valor that is going to be given for a Lake Piru water rescue. On the afternoon of July the 13th, a caller to a 911 reported a drowning at Lake Piru. While Copter 9 and ground units were en route out there, an off-duty Oxnard Fire Department captain, Jeff Wondolowski. Is he here? He's coming up. Awesome. This is a great story. And Jeff, this just brings chills to me because I think it's fantastic. Jeff is a certified ocean rescue swimmer, just to give you a little bit of background. And I don't know how this happened this day and how it's just the right place at the right time. But he's driving out on Highway 126 with his son. He has the Pulse Point app. You might have even had VCAT or something else on your phone, I'm not sure, but Pulse Point. And he notices this call goes out. Now he's down on Highway 126 outside the city limits of Piru, or outside the town side of Piru. What does he do? He quickly turns left basically and heads up the canyon to get there. He's off duty, he's with his son in the car. He hears that someone's drowning. I told you, he's a certified ocean rescue swimmer. He saw the incident and he immediately diverts to the lake. That alone right there, you should just get an award for that. I mean, you're just going, oh wait, I can help someone right here. When Copter 9 arrived on scene, they found Captain Wondolowski was already in the water. He was alone and he was performing an organized grid search for a submerged victim. He located the drowning victim and pulled him to shore with assistance from Copter 9's rescue swimmer. The victim was flown to the hospital where unfortunately he was pronounced dead. Although the victim succumbed to his injuries, it was not for a lack of effort by Captain Wondolowski, who went above and beyond trying to save another person's life. Before we give him the Medal of Valor, I want to tell you this. Emotionally, I will tell you that you're a stud. You diverted with your kid in the car and go, I can help. That's important, man, and that needs to be recognized. For that, you get a Medal of Valor. That is truly phenomenal. Phenomenal. Entered the water, started a search, was able to find the victim. It is not easy. If anybody's ever been at Lake Piru, you just can't see 2 feet in front of your face. The water's not that clear. I don't know if anybody's ever pulled a victim out of the water, but that could startle you when you're swimming underneath the water looking for somebody and a face pops up in front of you of someone who is drowned. But that could cause you to take a gulp of water. Unbelievable, and I applaud you for your actions. That's not the only one tonight that's going to get a Medal of Valor this afternoon. There was a plane crash that occurred just outside of Santa Paula Airport. Is Graham Pollock here today? Did he come today by chance? Okay. Graham Pollock was the victim, and I just wasn't sure if he was going to be here today. He suffered grave injuries in this, but Graham Pollock of Santa Paula had just lifted off from the Santa Paula Airport in a stunt biplane on August the 25th when something went badly wrong. Witnesses told the investigators the plane made 2 popping sounds and made a hard left turn and a sharp hard left turn downward right before crashing into an open lot near 12th Street and Highway 126. The 24-year-old pilot was able to pull himself out of the wreckage, but he was sustaining combustion. The young man was completely involved in fire. He was able to get himself out of that burning wreckage. He fell to the ground and he continued to burn. Martin Mayers was driving in the area when he heard the crash, and then he saw the pilot himself. Is Martin here today? Martin is here. Good. As Martin makes his way up here, I'm going to continue to tell this story. Gabriel Paccio, is Gabriel here as well? Oh, it is Gabriel. Okay. So Martin is not here. Martin is here. Perfect. Excellent. Martin and Gabriel was driving past with his 3 children in the car when they saw the flames as well. Both men acted quickly and decisively, and as you heard me speak tonight, you jumped in and took action. They pulled over to the side of the road. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Paccio told his daughter, Layla, to call 911, and Mars pulled in behind him. A chain link fence topped with barbed wire separated the men from the crash site and the burning victim. Mars is a welder and had a welder's tarp, and Paccio, a construction worker, had a fire extinguisher. They put the tarp over the top of the barbed wire fence, and they were able to get over the fence and over the barbed wire and into the vacant lot that was there. At this time, they handed over the fire extinguisher, and they were able to help, I believe it was your younger brother that was there, one of your younger brothers that was there, and indirectly had him help with some traffic that was occurring on Highway 126. Again, I'm trying to recreate this story here based on not being there, but I will tell you that they used the fire extinguisher to quickly put the victim out. But his black rubber shoes kept igniting until they were able to reach down and they were able to take his shoes off of his feet that continue to burn. Mayers then dragged the pilot away from the burning wreckage until firefighters and paramedics arrived. Pollock, the pilot, who had burns over much of his body, was transported immediately to a local hospital, then to a burn unit for treatment. By the way, I followed up trying to find out what his disposition was, and I haven't had a whole lot of luck trying to find out, but I know that he was burned. I believe it was more than 80% of his body, 2nd and 3rd degree burns. But he is alive today. And I will tell you this, that most people don't survive burns like that. Your skin is your biggest defense system that we have in our body, and I will tell you, you lose your skin like that, there is no store where you just go down and go, I'll take another set of that. Burns are debilitating. Burns are very, very traumatic. And I will tell you, most people that have ever had to deal with them, they'll realize right away that you only get one set of skin. And it is a very, very tough thing to deal with, and you witnessed it, and you were able to help someone. And because of your heroism and you're willing to say, let's do something about this, you were able to save a life. And we present each of you a Medal of Valor for what you did that day. We have one last award tonight that we'll bring to a close, and that is our last Medal of Valor award that will be awarded. Okay, go ahead. The other people receiving awards tonight is Layla, Ramiz, and Iker, who were present for their life-saving medals that were there. Thank you, guys. Our last Medal of Valor tonight that I do want to talk about just real quick, it involves a scuba diving incident and an ocean rescue incident. As Tim Milkovich starts making his way up here, on the afternoon of September 27th, the Ventura County Air Unit Copter 4 responded to a call regarding a diver in distress on the northwest end of Santa Cruz Island, about 38 miles off the California coast. Copter 4 that day flew, again, Copter 4 staff with both the Ventura County Sheriff's Department and Ventura County Fire Department. Copter 4 flew through very hazardous weather conditions, including a 100 to 200 foot cloud ceiling, dense fog, and extremely limited visibility. To about a half mile at times was that visibility. They arrived on scene at a dive vessel called the Longfin. Due to a small craft-sized boat, Copter 4 chose to perform a hover jump from the aircraft into the water, then to the vessel. This meant that the rescue swimmer, Tim Milkovich, who's on the stage here today, would jump into the ocean from a helicopter and swim through 5 to 7 foot waves to reach the boat and assess the patient that was on board. Tim successfully completed the jump, reached the boat. Once on board, made the swim, reached the boat. He determined the patient was in critical condition and coordinated with the rest of the Copter 4 crew to lower the hoist and lift the patient into the helicopter. Now, I will tell you this, having some time in our air unit and other people that currently work in our air unit will tell you that there's different types of rescues out in the ocean, and oftentimes for a pilot, for the crew, and for the swimmer, when a vessel is moving, and I want you to picture this, I'm 6'4", you just think when you have waves taller than I am that are crashing, that vessel's gonna be moving a lot. Oftentimes they'll put the vessel underway for hoist rescues because it's easier with it moving. But to swim in that environment, for that to happen, and then you realize to reach the ship, board the vessel, get on there, and Tim as a paramedic to start rendering aid right away is a tremendous feat. He successfully completed the jump, as I mentioned, got on board the ship, started rendering aid, and then once he was able to coordinate the lowering of the hoist and get the patient on board the helicopter, he realized right away that he's going to have to get back into the water where he could be hoisted back into the helicopter and not from the vessel. He then got back into those rough waters where he could be hoisted back to the helicopter. Once inside the helicopter cabin, he immediately started treating the patient and continued throughout the flight until Copter 4 could reach the local trauma center. Tim, your devotion to duty went above and beyond. The saving of the life of a patient as the rescue swimmer aboard Copter 4 that day, for your life-saving bravery, your ability to do what you do, your knowledge, skills, and ability in that environment, we present to you the Medal of Valor. As the ceremony comes to a close, and we've acknowledged all of our people, I wanted to just say a few words in closing. Today I was able to talk about a whole bunch of things, but there was one common denominator that I got to bring up. Actually, there was two common denominators. One of them was our resilience through all of our partnerships. I'll focus a lot on the Ventura County Sheriff's Department. I'll focus a lot on the Oxnard Fire Department, the Ventura City Fire Department, Ventura County Fire Department. Our operational area is very strong because of our relationships and when we pull together during different types of disasters. I think today really really, it showcases that based upon the medals that are given out for the various emergencies that we respond to. The second thing I think that rings true is people standing up to do something. I told you that we live in a very interesting world today, a world where everything is recorded and you are judged, and we have people that continue to rise to the occasion. And our men and women of our agencies out there, they are continuously in harm's way, and they continually raise their hand on a day-to-day basis. And although, yes, they are paid for the jobs that they do, I will tell you there is nothing better than somebody coming up to them and saying thank you. It means a lot, especially to all of our public safety professionals that are out there. They truly do make a difference. And for all the citizens that are out there that stopped with your kids in the car, they stopped to render aid. You were in the right place at the right time. To our people during our biking accidents, to our people that lended a hand, that were instructed how to do CPR, I leave everybody with this today. You want to make a difference, follow that river that is fed by a spring. Follow that river that is clear. Find ways that you can grow the people around you. Teach people to raise their hand, because that's truly what makes a community great. And Ventura County is a great community under the leadership of all of our elected officials, our fire chief, as well as the men and women of all of these agencies. With that, I want to say thank you for coming today, and I want to give one more round of applause to all of our recipients tonight. With that, that'll conclude our ceremony.